Hello, this is Janet Diane Moria Swerdlow, and this is the Expansions News Podcast for the very first week of October 2018. And as you can see, His Royal Imperial Highness Space Commander Stuart Swerdlow is off on a secret space mission collecting new data, which he will share with some of you upon his return. However, it is too lengthy to discuss on a podcast, so most of it he will be sharing in our January class, which, by the way, if you haven't registered yet and you're planning on coming, you need to do so because space is filling up fast. Now, did you see on our Facebook page that one of our videos was actually banned by YouTube? We received a legal complaint regarding the video titled Holocaust Denial, Google Grants Eternal Life, Hillary's Devil Horns. And it said that this video has been blocked from view on the following YouTube country sites. And I'm not going to read them. There are about 30 countries that banned this video. It said your video will be shown after a warning message. In addition, certain features such as comments, sharing, thumbs up, and suggested videos have been disabled. So we invite you to take a look and tell us why you think that particular video was banned. And just in case you're wondering, that was from March of 2015. So it took 3 years before somebody decided that it wasn't fit to be seen. I thought that was quite interesting considering what's going on with YouTube and, as you know, with Facebook as well. Now, moving right along to the news of what's going on in the world, all of a sudden Trump is a great friend with Kim Jong-un and actually called a letter that he received a beautiful piece of art. During a press conference, Trump said in regard to Kim, quote, "We have a very good relationship. He likes me, I like him, we get along. He wrote me 2 of the most beautiful letters. When I showed one of the letters, just one, to Prime Minister Abe of Japan, he said, this is actually a groundbreaking letter. This is a historic letter, and it is a historic letter. It's a beautiful piece of art, and I think we're going to make a deal," Trump further noted. Now, he did not say what was actually written in the letter, but he did not too long afterwards say that the time frame for North Korea's denuclearization has been relaxed, commenting that we're not playing the time game. If it takes 2 years, 3 years, or 5 years, it doesn't matter. So now all of a sudden we're good friends, and that's, of course, what's best for the world at this point in time and space. Now, at a time when you're not supposed to talk about a person's color or a person's gender or this or that, Trump actually called a foreign reporter Mr. Kurd, referring to him during a solo news conference in New York last week. While taking questions, Trump called on the reporter and said, "Yes, please, Mr. Kurd, go ahead." Now, the reporter, who was identified as Kurdistan TV reporter Rahim Rashidi, did not seem disturbed by the reference and thanked Trump for calling on him. "Thank you very much for your time, Mr. President," he replied. And then he asked Trump what the U.S. relationship with Kurds will be like now that ISIS has been defeated. The moment quickly went viral on social media because people were so surprised about Trump's attitude. Well, you know what? Personally, I don't have a problem with people saying things about me. Whether it's I'm a woman, I'm a white woman, I'm a Waldensian, I'm a French person, I'm an Italian person, I'm an American person, all those things describe me. So it's not offensive to me if somebody actually says something about what I am. Anyway, Rashidi welcomed it, even though many people were surprised by the moment, and he said, "I love it. He made me happy by this sentence, so kudos to Mr. Rashidi for moving forward and disregarding all this other ridiculous thing that's going on out there." And then you might be interested to know that Trump said that the U.S. and the Kurds are trying to get along very well. We are trying to help them out. We get along great with the Kurds. He said they fought with us. They died with us. They died. We lost tens of thousands of Kurds fighting ISIS. They died for us and with us, for themselves. But they are great people, and we do not forget. So, moving right along, we have Michelle Obama. Now, this was kind of an interesting story to me because the headlines all over the place, everywhere you look, said Michelle Obama gives Chicago couple the ultimate gift by officiating their wedding. So I was curious why she's an officiant. So when I was doing my research to find out why, I ran across this title from People magazine that says Michelle Obama has a new job added to her list of titles wedding officiant. And then Times of Israel reported that she officiated at a wedding of a Chicago Jewish couple under a traditional Jewish wedding canopy or chuppah. Then the New York Times went on to say that the couple's friend, Robert Dresser, was the ceremony officiant, but the bride's cousin, Tina Newman, posted a video of the ceremony on Instagram showing Obama officiating. Big Times Media then posted on its Instagram account a photo of her with the caption at the top titled, "Holy Moly." So I kind of wondered if that was a trigger word of some kind, but we'll find out. Anyway, then what I finally discovered, and I have that in the notes that you'll see, that she did not actually officiate at the wedding. Instead, she helped make their marriage official by leading them in their I-do's. So apparently she was not the officiant, but she helped, whatever that means, at the wedding. Said the bride, you might be interested to know, is the daughter of the city's deputy mayor, Robert S. Rivkin of Chicago, of course, and her mother serves as the president of Penny Pritzker's Chicago-based charity, the Pritzker-Traubart Foundation. And of course, Penny Pritzker was the Commerce Secretary in the Obama administration. The groom works as an investment associate at Chicago's DNS Capital, which is the family investment officer for Michael Pucker and Gigi Pritzker. So, oddly enough, there she is. So she's not an official wedding officiant. However, they did make a big thing about her, they call it, quote, highly anticipated, which I don't know about that, her memoir, which is called Becoming. She's beginning her tour of this new book, which will launch on November 13, there's our magic number, in her hometown of Chicago, which of course is the same day that Becoming, her new book, hits the shelves. And on to the Vatican sex abuse scandal, which we have been reporting on to you from time to time. I've been telling you about a lot of the religious leaders who are asking people to pray for certain events to happen. So now the Pope is seeking prayers to fight the devil. Now, in this particular article, when I went to the page, it said the video isn't available. So I thought, well, kind of like ours, right? Us and the Pope. Anyway, according to this particular video, which was taken down, it said sometimes Hulu has to take them down from time to time. But don't worry, there's plenty of other videos for you to watch. So I don't know what the video was, but apparently it was most likely not favorable to the Pope. Anyway, the Pope asked for daily prayers to protect the Catholic Church from what he says are attacks by the devil. Now, the Vatican statement appeared to be a direct or an indirect response to accusations that Francis himself, as well as a string of Vatican officials before him, were complicit in covering up the sexual misconduct of a now disgraced American ex-cardinal. So therefore, it seems the Vatican has said that Francis wants all Catholics worldwide to unite and pray the rosary each day during October to protect the church from the devil, who is always looking to divide us from God and from one another. So, of course, if he points the finger somewhere else, then those people do not think that the Catholic Church is actually the one doing this act. Anyway, Francis goes on to identify the devil as, quote, the great accuser who roams the earth looking for ways to accuse, unquote. So we're going to look at the devil and not the Catholic Church, apparently. Now, the Vatican would not say if Francis was referring to its former ambassador, Archbishop Carlo Maria Vigano, who has thrown the papacy into turmoil by accusing Francis of rehabilitating ex-Cardinal Theodore McCarrick from sanctions imposed by Pope Benedict XVI over reports that he slept with seminarians. Vigano actually called for Francis to resign over the scandal. And remember, we have talked a lot about the prophecy that Francis is the Black Pope and he's supposed to be the last one. Francis said that he will not respond to Vigano's claims, but ever since Vigano's accusation was published the end of August, Francis has referred repeatedly to the great accuser who attacks the church and seeks to sow division within it. Now you want to remember that Francis removed McCarrick as a cardinal in July, and then after news broke of the investigations, several other former seminarians and priests came forward to report that they too had been abused or harassed by McCarrick as adults. In a new missive, Vigano issued on Friday, September 29th, which is actually the feast of St. Michael, Archangel. St. Michael is considered the protector of the church and the leader of all angels who battled evil and drove it from the church. Vigano has actually cast himself as the church's protector, who at great personal risk broke 2 decades of Vatican silence to reveal the truth about McCarrick and his protectors for the good of the church. So lots of things going on with the Catholic Church. Let's see if it's actually going to be its downfall as we prepare for, of course, New World religion. We've also been talking to you about synthetic pot. So I thought you would be interested to know that in Illinois, patients have been coming in since last spring, bleeding from almost every body orifice, their eyes, their ears, and even in their urine. Apparently, the doctors got together and figured out that all the patients had been using synthetic marijuana, which is variously known as K2, Spice, Kush, Chronic, or Scooby Snacks. Some tests were done on the patients, and it was established that the products, the synthetic pot, was contaminated with what is known as superwarfarins, which are actually blood thinners that are given to people with heart problems that make them susceptible to blood clots that cause heart attacks and strokes. These are actually rat poisons, which we've told you about many, many times. So in humans, the effects of this superwarfarin can actually last for months, especially when you don't have an issue to start with. So the people who ingested the K2 or synthetic pot would need to take sweat vitamin K in large doses for months to correct the issue. There's a standard test that measures how blood clots, and these patients were actually off the charts in terms of clotting dysfunction. The best treatment, of course, was this vitamin K to get the blood started clotting again. And usually a few pills will set a patient right, but they found out that people with this very severe bleeding disorder actually would take them several weeks and actually very expensive, somewhere between $24,000 to $34,000 a month per person. And apparently there were so many people coming in with this issue that the pharmacies did not carry that kind of stock, and they actually ran out of vitamin K. And apparently there are still more people coming in. I don't know why they are still doing this, but in Illinois they've had more than 160 cases, and people were poisoned by synthetic pot cut with rat poison in Connecticut, Washington, D.C., Wisconsin, and Maryland. And the way that they make synthetic pot, in case you're not really sure, is they take plant material, they spray it with chemicals that mimic the high from marijuana, and it is actually a Schedule I drug, and it's the same level as cocaine and heroin, as a with its high abuse potential and absolutely no medical benefit. Now, as the survey goes on that's connected with this particular article about marijuana, this survey was that they took of several thousand adults, so that most users think marijuana is harmless, but it's not. The acute adverse effects of marijuana use can include anxiety, dry mouth, racing heart rate, high blood pressure, palpitations, wheezing, confusion, and dizziness, along with chronic respiratory conditions, depression, impaired memory, and reduced bone density. And of course, Stuart and I have told you many, many times, it also lowers the quality of sperm as well as the sperm count itself. Now, this particular survey said that baby boomers are using pot and other cannabis products, and they're more likely to also smoke, drink alcohol, and abuse drugs. 9% of people aged 50 to 64 said they've used marijuana in the past year, which is double the number in the same age group just a little bit over 10 years ago. And of course, baby boomers are those people who were born between 1946 and 64. And the study goes on to say a concerning finding from our study was the higher prevalence of alcohol use disorder, nicotine dependence, cocaine use, and prescription drug misuse among middle-aged and older adults with past year marijuana use compared to non-past year users. So like I've been telling you, there's a lot of things going on out there. You have to be really careful, and you need to take control of your mind, or somebody else will take control of it for you. So please get the Hyperspace Helper, the Hyperspace Plus, and of course, Healing Archetypes and Symbols, and these will help you in your daily living, as well as decoding your life. This is a book based on spiritual law, and this book alone will help you. If you want to couple it with Hyperspace Helper, these are great beginning places. If you're not familiar with our work, take a look at these. And of course, we have, beginning this week, our next series on the affirmations, affirming you. This is a great series of webinars. I think we have about 18 people on right now. We have about 2 more spaces. If you're interested in joining us in October, then please take a look at our website, and you want to get this book to follow along with us. And I also want to mention that several people have been asking about the Little Fluffs book. Now, I do have 4 in the series, which I've mentioned before: Protection, Archetypes, Auras, and of course Stuart's favorite, the Chakra System, which lots of nice colors in all of these books. We do have Kindle versions of them. However, if you want to get the series, right now the only place they're available are at our website, expansions.com. So please check out our Facebook pages, visit our website, like, comment, subscribe, and share. And if you want to be notified when our new videos come out, you have to be the one as a subscriber to let them know that you want to get notified. We can't do that for you. And finally, I want to remind you that we have our upcoming class in January. It's just 3 months away at this point, and we have people signing up. Space is limited, so if you're interested, you need to sign up immediately for that. And I look forward to seeing you in person very, very soon in January. So take care, and we will chat soon. Bye-bye.